Hi, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE. We're here in Maui for ACTAI Global. This is our second annual event for theCUBE. Brian Bauman, NYC Wired, third event. Amanda Terry's here. She is ACTAI Global Venture Head with Bill Ty and the team. This gathering really brings together a lot of the greatest people together, curious, and it's diverse, and it changes. New people come in. You have seasoned veterans here. Amanda, great to see you back on the stage. It's not a background. Everyone thinks this is a Zoom background, but this is real. We just threw a hat through there to make sure.
Well, we're just so glad you guys are here, and we're just thrilled to have this partnership. It's amazing that you've been able to spotlight so many incredible founders and investors in the AI and blockchain climate space. So thank you.
And the physical AI trend is coming, and Brian and I have this digital twin idea. When you have such a great together group, physical face-to-face, it's such a premier asset when people are together, literally face-to-face, human interaction, and the physical world, and bringing that on digital is just a no-brainer for us. And it spreads because people can see the videos and see the people behind the efforts, like yourself.
So much magic happens on these trips. People literally meet co-founders, they get funding, they get partnerships, and then to be able to amplify that through your media presence is really incredible. So it
is magic here. I really love it here. But one of the topics that's near and dear to your heart, and we've been covering on Crypto Trailblazers, is the real world assets on chain. And this again speaks to that theme again, physical and digital coming together as first party relationships. So the middlemen in these ecosystems are being disintermediated out. They're going away. People are going direct, whether it's content, finance, all areas where now digital technology and information technology gets so advanced, it really kind of fuses in to real world physical things.
I mean, it's crazy when you think about how much trillions of dollars are running on technology that was pre-internet, right? So, disparate data systems, transfer agents, custodians, settlement rails, all of these different systems and processes that need to happen just to, create capital markets. And it works. I mean, there's trillions of dollars that are working on the current system, but slowly, not necessarily opaque, more expensive. So we're just really excited. I mean, we feel like Wall Street is going to get a reboot. In fact, they are getting a reboot.
They're totally getting a reboot. And it's a full stack reboot. It's not just cryptocurrency.
It's not crypto. It's not just digital collectibles. It is, how are you modernizing capital markets? And MetaGood, the company I co-founded with Bill Ty as our chairman and Danny Yang, I mean, we are basically creating an operating system for the tokenization of real-world assets.
I love that. I love that. I mean, an operating system implies a lot of subsystems, things working together, software layers to kind of pull it together, and also the democratization. I mean, what I love about real-world assets is that the technology and then the business logic is now rethought. And tokenizing them is a big deal.
And I'll even say, obviously there's a number of players in the tokenization market, but if you started in 21 doing this, and you started doing this, let's say, like we've been working on this in the last year, with AI, we've integrated AI natively into our platform. And what does that mean? Like, we're literally using lean proofs and mathematical formulas to ensure that every property is correct. And I mean, hacks are still an issue in crypto, but the way that we've set up our system, it's greatly reduced by the use of AI. And it's not just AI doing QA, it's like literally using mathematical proof so that all the properties are correct. Not 1 cent more goes to, let's say, a shareholder than should be. And it speeds things up too. So, I mean, for example, we've been speaking to one of the largest transfer agents in the world that, frankly, token issuance is table stakes. Very easy, not I want to say too easy, but relatively easy to do.
It's well known.
It's well known. There's lots of players doing it. But what we found, speaking to a lot of the larger transfer agents, is that the back end, the whole life cycle management of corporate actions, and they can get very complex, is where a lot of providers are not supporting them. And with our AI infrastructure, we can literally, things that took months in terms of getting corporate actions, new ones or more complex ones into a system, we can do in a matter of days. And accurately.
What's interesting about this is that there's a real market opportunity, and when you have markets, as Bill Ty always says, take the friction out, repeat it, and scale it. You have a market, so the people who don't jump on board, it's not just putting the blocker up. When they had leverage, market control, you can do that. But now the market's growing so fast, putting a blocker up is certainly possible, but there's so many people now willing to do and replicate what's being done because the market's there.
Yes.
And so I have to ask you, for people watching, I get this all the time, what is RWA, real world assets on-chain tokenization? What does it mean? Can you give some examples, just kind of frame it for folks to kind of get their head around? Because there's a lot of like complex, I call it the financial stack, involved in financial infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's very nerdy, but what's the application of real world assets?
I would say, roughly $13 trillion of assets that are basically locked. They're not liquid, very high cost to issue them. Investors can't access them globally. They're just locked, right?
Yeah.
Kind of private markets. And that could be stocks in some cases, that could be private credit, that could be real estate, that could be even IP rights for music. I mean, it could be there. Basically, any of these assets can be tokenized, come on chain, which basically means you're able to kind of fractionalize the ownership as a digital representation instead of a lot of manual processes, and in some cases even like paper work in some cases for these things. It can be traded much more fluidly and opened up for global investors to invest and put on chain, so that the provenance and who's owned what, and when you think about compliance and governance and all the things that we need to do to be, as a regulated industry, all of that can go on chain to enable auditing and all those audit trails to happen, in a much easier manner. Just as you said, reducing friction for global capital markets.
And in real world, people can think of it like their home. You get a mortgage, you go to a bank, credit. We all got through the credit card process even when it was hard. Now it's super easy. Now I have to turn away credit cards. But the control point are these large corporations, these old school mechanisms.
Yes.
Generations and generations of IT, generations of business models are at risk, and that makes it closed and controlled.
Yes.
This is now opening up access on the money side.
Yes.
Which opens up more market dynamics.
More demand should increase prices. And we saw with the rise of the prediction markets, right? And which is still like such a small scale compared to like what's trading on, New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ. But people want to trade 24/7.
Yeah.
If something happens in the world on the weekend, they don't want to wait till Monday to be able to put a trade in, right? So that to me is just a precursor of what other capital markets are moving towards. People want atomic settlement.
Yeah.
They want 24/7 access. They want, global liquidity.
Yeah.
But it still needs to happen in a compliant framework. It needs to happen, in ways that traditional asset owners can feel comfortable. And what's so great about MetaGood is we are, modularized tech platform, and so we can work with any of the existing legacy systems.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, we're not requiring issuers or custodians to rip and replace their existing. We have worked very closely with people that have been part of the DTCC, and there's a lot of existing infrastructure that people do not want to replace.
Yeah.
So we are.
And what's the reason for that? Just because it's comfortable, it's running, the plumbing's working?
Just a lot of investment
Yeah.
in that. And so we can be basically an operating layer on top of, you can use your existing infrastructure, but we can help, abstract that digitally and enable, issuance and life cycle management, full cycle life cycle management, post-issuance corporate actions to be done on chain.
Talk about the MVP, because the liquidity's involved. A lot of things have to come together. It's kind of like putting Jell-O in the refrigerator. At some point, it just comes together. What's the MVP, minimum viable product for this?
So we're out in market. We're supporting basically any, and you'll see the video demo today, but issuers, everything that a transfer agent needs, and on the buyer side as well. So anything from the buyer side, like obviously KYC, AML, we can work with different wallets in terms of custodying tokens. We can work with different chains as well. We're chain agnostic. For the issuers, I think there's like 9 corporate actions that are supported out of the box. Then, as I said, we can use AI to very quickly add any other ones that people need. But we got our product requirements directly from literally one of the largest transfer agents in the world. They've seen our product and they were kind of blown away. With what's in it, right?
I think I'm going to change the name from MVP, Minimum Viable Project, MVS, Minimum Viable System, because what you're building
it's
is
not
an
even minimal. It's actually like it's
standard.
fully ready to handle any real world asset.
But the system has to be together.
Yeah.
You got to have that operating model.
Yep.
Has anything jumped out at you? Just curious around any new operating model modes, for lack of a better word. What's come out of some of the discovery? Have there been surprises like, wow, holy shit, we could do that or this?
Well, I mean, when you think about tokenization, it's the structuring needs to be there. It's the tech, right, which there's a lot of platforms in that space. And then I think what's going to get really interesting is the distribution, right? Like, on the other hand, you need people to buy the tokens. You need a secondary market. And I think, we will be hopefully announcing some partnerships soon that will be very interesting for people, because we're not just a tech provider, right? Like, we also, the distribution is key. And I think that there's going to be a lot of innovation there, and we'll have, hopefully next time I come on and meet with you, I can share more.
I think I know a little bit about what's happening. I'll try not to reveal it.
But it's really exciting.
Congratulations. I know it's been a big year for you guys, and been such needle-moving year for the whole sector. We've seen massive activity, successes.
I mean, I'll just say one other thing too. Like, we were fortunate to be part of an event that the New York Stock Exchange threw with literally like Joe Lubin, Tom Lee, Don Wilson, and we had some other tokenization platform founders there. This team, this is not their first rodeo, right? Like, Bill Tai has been in Bitcoin since 2010, right? Like, founded Bitfury, which did the ASIC mining chips to do Bitcoin mining, right, on Hut 8's board, right, which is one of the largest still admin in America. My other co-founder, Danny Yang, founded the Stanford Bitcoin meetup in 2013. He created MyCoin, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange in Taiwan. I think they get over 75% of the volume. So I think Coinbase of Taiwan, been operating for a decade, likely going public next year. He also founded Blockseer, which was an early blockchain explorer, which the FBI and Secret Service used for blockchain analytics. So talk about like builders that have run blockchain companies, institutional infrastructure for over a decade. I think we talked about this in a previous one, but Danny and Bill literally were working with Hernando Soto back in 2015 to try to put property rights on the blockchain for Egypt. Right? Now, it was a little too early technically and politically. Bill also advised the Fluidity.io team, which tokenized the first condo in Manhattan, a $30 million condo. They ended up getting acquired by Joe Lubin. Consensus became the MetaMask team. So, this team has been very deeply thinking about and working on tokenization. And we're just so fortunate to be alive in these times where now the regulatory environment is positive and there's tailwinds, and you have the SEC saying that they're going to offer crypto innovation exemptions for companies in the space that like we can actually do it.
It's interesting. It's a great call out, because a lot of people don't know that the crypto industry, these original frontier players, OGs now, were builders and investors, and they're trying to do good. And then the journey, now they're captains of industry, and the leadership behind the scenes. You just essentially mentioned a bunch of things. It's not, and they see the tailwind now. It's kind of like they see the wind here in Maui, where they grab it and they go downwind. They do a downwinder, but here they're leaning in.
It's just proven experience of running things at an institutional level for over a decade with no hacks, no downtime. Like there is serious premium value, which whenever we get on these calls with like a new issuer, I'm explaining, and Danny, my co-founder, is so humble, right? Like he's a PhD in computer science from Stanford. I mean, like we have actually 20% of our team are PhDs in AI. So, but Danny doesn't like to brag, so I always have to go on there and be like, and then there's Bill, and there's Danny, hi, I'm Amanda. I mean, we're so fortunate to have these serious. I mean, and then our cap table, we have Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, right? We have Mark Yusko of Morgan Creek Capital Management, right? Like huge digital asset player.
And these are people that are humble, kind of like the vibe here at ACTAI Global. But they're doing the work, though. That's the key. They're actually moving the needle brick by brick. But then they get these opportunities now. They seize it. Everyone's excited and confident. It's really great to see.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
We couldn't be more excited now that we have product ready to go in market. And I'll say that
we'll see
the New York Stock Exchange has been a great partner. It's been we're really fortunate to know Brian Bauman and obviously Michael Blogron, who's, we've had multiple calls. They've opened doors, making intros for us, and obviously they've been wonderful.
I mean, New York Stock Exchange has been on the frontier. They're so aggressive on innovation. Our partnership with NYSE and Wired, as a result that's come out of that,
and the ATS, the alternative trading system that they've announced.
Dolly Market. I mean, they are very innovative because their parent company, it's not your grandfather's NYSE. It's a new NYSE. They are modern, innovative. They got a founder at Intercontinental Exchange that has a vision. He understands the data business. They understand a lot of the key.
Yeah. I actually have a slide in my presentation, but I have their bowl, iconic bowl, and it's literally Control-Delete. The bowl is resetting, rebooting the system.
Can we tokenize that bull?
So maybe.
Amanda, great to have you on. Thank you for having theCUBE. And again, what a great event. This event really brings together the best minds. It's been called Brainiac Summer Camp. I call it a tech retreat. Burning Man meets TED Talks, meets the Olympics. A lot of kiting, so thanks so much for having theCUBE, and always great work. And we'll continue. See you in New York when you come visit theCUBE and NYSE Wired. Thanks for coming on. I'm John Furrier with theCUBE. We're going to go back and do some talks. I'm going to host a panel on defense tech, drones, space. Yesterday was AI data centers, but who knows? We'll maybe see data centers in space, so maybe I can tie that together. Thanks for watching.